Namaste. I am Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, Shuks, from India, and I am the mission pilot for Axiom 4.
"402 kilometers above the surface of the Earth, there is a man-made object the size of a football field orbiting the planet 16 times a day. And there is only one Indian to have set foot on this. The furthest inhabited outpost of the human race, the International Space Station.
SpaceX Dragon, we are go for launch. Section 5 is complete.
Copy, Section 5 complete. 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff.
For three nations, a new chapter in space takes flight. Godspeed AX4.
The journey began 1 minute past noon Indian Standard Time on the 25th of June 2025. The Axiom 4 mission blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center, USA on a SpaceX Falcon 9 Block 5 vehicle piloted by Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla. On board were 4 space travelers from 4 different countries.
Waiting to hear call-outs from the Falcon 9 engineering team.
कमाल की राइड थी। इस समय हम 7.5 किलोमीटर प्रति सेकंड की रफ्तार से पृथ्वी के चारों तरफ घूम रहे हैं और मेरे कंधे पे मेरे साथ मेरा तिरंगा है जो मुझे बता रहा है कि नहीं हूँ, मैं आप सबके साथ हूँ।
Continuing their approach to the International Space Station, they have just made their way past waypoint 1.
1 meter.
Shubhanshu Shukla and the Axiom 4 mission docked with the space station on Thursday, the 26th of June at 1 minute past 4 p.m. India time. A pressurized vestibule was created between the spacecraft and the space station before the hatches opened on both sides.
McLean and Nicole Ayers are starting to clear out the hatchway, and we are going to see the first views of Axiom Mission 4. Commander Peggy Whitson, the first one across the A-Pass hatch, receiving great big hugs from Nicole Ayers and the Expedition 73 crew. Pilot Shubhanshu Shukla is the next one to come across, representing ISRO. It is his first space flight for Peggy Whitson, her return to the International Space Station on her 5th flight, second as a member of Axiom Space.
With the arrival of the Axiom 4, the total crew strength of the ISS went up to 11. The International Space Station is designed to carry 7 crew members for long stay and can accommodate a maximum of 13 during crew changeovers. 41 years after squadron leader Rakesh Sharma, Shubhanshu Shukla looked down on the earth and felt the gravity of his situation.
But we've got something we want to show you.
Okay.
Crews were in microgravity. In case you didn't believe my necklace or flying off the ceiling, we got other things to prove we're in zero gravity. And we're going to do this little thing with water.
Sonia, I've become a water bender here in the station. And I've been with this, so you have to see this.
Oh.
So you can see the water forms a ball in zero gravity because the surface tension of the water itself is actually much stronger now that we don't have gravity up here and actually holds it together. He's got this little
tool.
It's a water bubble moving tool.
Look at that. It's like we're looking at a clear marble, but it's actually a liquid. Is that a bubble inside there?
Yes.
Wow.
A bubble inside a water bubble. I told you I have a water bender.
So you really have acclimated beautifully.
The 19 days the first Indian spent on the ISS might have been one of cramped existence, but it would be a minor sacrifice for the benefit of science.
For the first few days when I came to this station, I actually became slow. So that was my adaptation to microgravity. But I think it was initial 2 days, and after that, everything became normal. And right now, I think I'm very well adjusted to microgravity.
The Axiom mission had docked carrying 263 kgs of research equipment and material. While on board the ISS, Shubhanshu Shukla and his mission mates completed over 60 cutting-edge scientific experiments, including the significant Sprouts project. Critical for developing future space agriculture prototypes on long-duration missions. Other experiments Shubhanshu worked on were for ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, gathering critical insights for India's upcoming Gaganyaan program.
अंतरिक्ष में आने से क्या होता है कि ग्रेविटी चूंकि एब्सेंट होती है तो लोड खत्म हो जाता है, तो मसल लॉस होता है. तो जो मेरा एक्सपेरिमेंट है वो ये देख रहा है कि क्या कोई सप्लीमेंट दे के हम इस मसल लॉस को रोक सकते हैं या फिर डिले कर सकते हैं. इसका डायरेक्ट इम्प्लीकेशन धरती पे भी है कि जिन लोगों का मसल लॉस होता है ओल्ड एज की वजह से, तो उनके ऊपर ये सप्लीमेंट्स यूज किए जा सकते हैं. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये डेफिनेटली वहाँ यूज हो सकता है.
It is not all work on the ISS, and when the experiments are done and the scientific equipment strapped down, the international crews spend time getting to know each other and swapping human stories from around the world.
I'm sleeping in the Dragon, so I have the luxury of having 2 windows to myself. So I do that a lot by night. So yeah.
To function in the ISS, Shubhanshu had a choice. Either to tether himself to stay stationary or float about free in the smallness of space. In a space of 19 Earth days, Shubhanshu Shukla, travelling at a fantastic speed of 8 kilometers per second, crossed almost 90% of the planet several times over, at a rate of 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets per day.
Whatever little time I get, I go sit by the window, most of the times taking pictures, but if not, just sitting by the window and looking down, looking back at the earth. I think it is the most beautiful that I have seen till date. So I just want to savor it as much as I can in the last few days.
He lived through more than 300 of each in his journey around space. But coming back to Earth, Shubhanshu Shukla reiterated what Rakesh Sharma had said 41 years ago.
आज का भारत अभी भी सारे जहां से अच्छा दिखता है.
India is still out of the world. Seen from space, it still remains सारे जहां से अच्छा. But for Shubhanshu to be able to gaze at this out-of-the-world view, he first had to be made ready. And that meant intensive training stretching back months. Shubhanshu and the other crew members of the Axiom 4 mission underwent training at SpaceX's human spaceflight training facilities in Hawthorne, California, United States of America. The training emphasis was on crew coordination, spacecraft systems management, and most importantly, real-time decision making.
Inside of the hatch itself.
Okay. Here, this opens up the nose, nose clip. So the way I recommend.
While all the crew members went through the same modules, Shubhanshu's training as the pilot of the mission was critical for mission safety.
Okay. Your lips seal the water out. If you smile, you drown.
The pilot on the mission plays a very significant role, particularly during the launch procedures and orbital maneuvers while docking with the International Space Station.
As you can see in my background is called the Mission Control Center. If you would have heard the famous article, Houston, we have a problem. This is the Houston they were talking about.
Another major training module is effective communication with SpaceX's mission control.
So we have a full team back here on ground who are monitoring each and every of this system all the time, and in case there is a requirement for some kind of maintenance or some kind of intervention, these are the people who monitor this and they alarm the crew.
During the blast-off and then on re-entry, astronauts face immense gravitational force. To get ready for this G-force experience, Shubhanshu and his mission mates underwent centrifuge training.
Yes. 37.
So this goes here.
Yes.
Crew note. The location was not overhead aft, but forward overhead.
Doing preparations for sensations that we will feel during a launch, ascent, and then a descent as we re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, and then also if we did an emergency launch escape profile.
I have been a fighter pilot and we are exposed to this kind of training regularly in our profession, and we do the training at frequent intervals, and centrifuge is a good way to experience that and expose the crew to these G loads before they finally experience it in the flight itself.
Shubhanshu and the crew also had to rehearse getting in and out of the Dragon capsule. And they had to do this wearing SpaceX's custom flight suits, something they would have to wear on their journey out and back to Earth.
So because we have selected everything in auto, so once I select an ISO, it automatically changes the shutter speed. But if I do want to correct a shutter speed,
then you have to go to shutter priority, the S mode.
Yeah.
Taking a picture in space may well yield stunning results. But it does not happen at the point and shoot level of ability. Space photography is an acquired skill, something that Shubhanshu had to train for. It was only after the AX-4 astronauts became thoroughly familiar with their vehicle that the mission could move towards blast-off, that Shubhanshu would pilot to their low Earth orbit.
Countdown pad is clear. Go for launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition, liftoff.
Ignition.
Dragon, separation confirmed.
For me, having him as my pilot in the Dragon capsule is great. He already has that operational savvy. You know, he's just wicked smart when it comes to spacecraft technologies.
He is very focused and he will basically go 1, 2, 3, 4 in a record time. I don't even know how he gets there so fast.
It has been an amazing journey. These are moments that really tell you that you are getting to be a part of something that is much larger than yourself. I can only say how extremely fortunate I am to be a part of this.
At 4:45 p.m. on Monday, a Dragon vehicle undocked from the space-facing port of the International Space Station's Harmony module. And so began the dramatic re-entry of Shubhanshu Shukla, the first Indian to have ever walked the space station, 400 kilometers above the surface of the Earth.
Visiting vehicles when they are arriving and departing from the laboratory.
Before the undocking could happen, the pilot, Shubhanshu Shukla, and the other astronauts had to make sure that their re-entry vehicle was up to speed, checking and double-checking all the systems inside their SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule is part of the protocol.
And we are now about 5 minutes away from the new undocking command time.
And when approved by Mission Control, the hatch between the ISS and the capsule Grace got sealed, and the capsule undocked. The relatively slow 23-hour-long journey back began by slowly drifting in orbit while adjusting its position using short thruster burns.
It is a long journey for a 400-kilometer orbit space station, but these are orbital maneuvers. It takes time for things to adjust and get it precise so that when you leave the space station and where you splash down, all of it depends on the orbital mechanics, and it usually takes that long.
Once the space vehicle had its position and timing right, it jettisoned the service module, ditching the solar panels and extra machinery that would no longer be needed. The capsule carrying the 4 humans then dropped from orbit and began its controlled re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. As it entered the atmosphere, Grace turned its nose upwards to have the heat shield in place. At about 120 kilometers above the Earth's surface, the vehicle began to burn because of the extreme friction that the capsule encountered falling through the atmosphere.
On re-entry, Grace capsule had a outside temperature of about 2000 degrees Celsius. The inside temperature for astronauts remained what would be conducive for humans. The Grace capsule went up pristine white. It was on its maiden mission and came back sintered, but performed extremely well.
SpaceX Dragon, we have you loud and clear.
Inside the capsule, Shubhanshu and the others, shielded from the heat, at this point still faced approximately 3 times the Earth's gravitational force.
We rotate to 26 degrees, which we just saw there, to keep the crew within acceptable G limits.
And as the capsule descended, it continued to slow down.
Excellent view.
Great view. Drogue parachutes are deployed.
At about 5 kilometers above the Earth's surface, 2 small parachutes released to stabilize the capsule. A few seconds later, still about 2 kilometers above Earth, the 4 main parachutes opened.
Through things like cloud layer and any kind of atmospheric disturbance allows us to maintain visual contact with the vehicle.
And Grace gracefully floated down the last few minutes to the Pacific Ocean, bringing its human cargo safe and sound back to Mother Earth.
SpaceX copies splashdown and stable 1. On behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
It is my sincere endeavor through my mission to inspire an entire generation back home in the country. I want to use this opportunity to ignite curiosity among kids. Even if this story, my story, is able to change one life, it would be a huge success for me.